It is Friday, September 24th. I'm Nicole Burley. This is News Nation Rush Hour. Those top stories in just a moment. But first, we do have News Nation reporters spread all across the country. Here's what else is going on right now. New details in a fraternity hazing death at Virginia Commonwealth University. 11 people indicted today in connection with the off-campus death of Adam Oakes. The charges they're facing and how Oakes' family is now responding. And in New York, a race against the clock as the city approaches a Monday deadline for all teachers to be vaccinated. More than 10,000 still unvaccinated. How the city is preparing for a so-called nightmare scenario. And the massive manhunt for Brian Laundrie still on right now in Florida. News Nation's Brian Enton live at the scene of that search that is happening. But let's start tonight in Tennessee. New details on that deadly supermarket shooting. We covered it last night as breaking news. It only happened 24 hours ago. Tonight, though, we're learning more about the alleged gunman, the victim who lost her life, and the chaos that unfolded inside that store. News Nation correspondent Janelle Fort is live for us tonight in Collierville, Tennessee. And Janelle, investigators still combing through evidence tonight.
Well, yeah, Nicole, they've got quite a bit of ground to cover this afternoon. Caution tape still surrounding this Kroger. There's a command post back there. And then inside, investigators are hard at work uncovering more clues. Collierville Police Chief Dale Lane says that officials are getting a clearer picture of what happened here, but he stopped shy of providing a motive.
Tonight, the investigation continues into bloodshed at a Collierville Kroger about 30 miles east of Memphis. Police identifying the gunman who killed one woman and injured at least 14 others.
Was he an employee? He was a third-party vendor for Kroger.
Police say the 29-year-old walked in the grocery chain around 1:30 yesterday afternoon. Witnesses described a succession of shots going off, sending customers and employees running for cover. Some hid in freezers, others in locked offices. One person even managed to hide on the roof.
I was just thinking, oh, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. He's going to shoot me.
Police say the victims include 10 employees and 5 customers. They identified the lone fatality as 70-year-old Olivia King. The gunman took his life minutes after the shooting began as officers were closing in.
We all want to know the why. But today, less than 24 hours, we just don't have that. We're not ready to tell you that.
Now, we know that there are still several people in the hospital in serious condition tonight. And Nicole, I do want to mention that we do have the name of that gunman in this shooting, but we're not going to use it because we don't want to give him that notoriety.
Yeah, such a tragic situation, Janelle. Thank you for that update. All right, we head from Tennessee to Virginia now. 8 people arrested, 11 indicted in connection to the hazing death of college student Adam Oakes. In February, the Virginia Commonwealth University student died. It happened at an off-campus house after a fraternity party. Now, his death was ruled accidental, but now his family says they are just grateful for some measure of justice. News Nation's Ben Dennis from our Richmond station WRIC joining us now with more on that investigation.
Well, the story continues to be deeply tragic. Yet another alleged hazing incident at a fraternity party, and someone ended up dead. Today in Richmond, 11 people have been indicted and charged in connection to the death of a VCU freshman, Adam Oakes. 8 of them have been arrested. His family has long said that they have wanted justice, and today they say it's exactly what they've gotten. Now, the local medical examiner said Adam died of alcohol poisoning, but they ruled it an accident. His family alleges Adam was forced to drink an entire handle of Jack Daniels at a Delta Chi fraternity party at an off-campus house back on February the 27th. The chapter was later expelled from VCU, and this case got national attention earlier this year. Those flames getting hotter of these alleged hazing incidents on American college campuses. Now, Adam Oakes' dad, Eric, and cousin Courtney White, they have been outspoken for quite some time about this case. We caught up with them today, and they had a message for their loved one.
Life is empty without him.
I love you, and I'm so glad that I fought so hard for you. I wouldn't take any of the fighting back, ever. And I will continue to fight until we start to see changes that are needed.
And we don't yet know the details surrounding these charges inside of sealed indictments, but we are told these 11 people charged, they are due in court in Richmond on Monday. Nicole, back to you.
All right, Ben, thank you for that. Well, now to the latest on the pandemic. The White House setting a December 8th deadline for millions of federal contractors to get the COVID vaccine. And the Biden administration says they'll add language to future federal contracts to require vaccinations. Now, meantime, CVS confirming to News Nation the company now offering Pfizer booster shots to eligible people today. Also, the CDC today cited 3 separate studies which show masks in schools do reduce the chance of COVID outbreaks. So the issue of vaccine mandates in schools prompting a potential education emergency in New York City. All education department employees must show proof of their first COVID shot by Monday. And right now, an estimated 10,000 teachers and faculty in that school system are still holding out. News Nation correspondent Tom Negevin is live for us tonight in Manhattan. So, Tom, how is the city preparing for what could potentially be a huge mess?
Very well, according to the city's mayor, Bill de Blasio. He says they are ready, that those teachers, should they fail to get at least their first shot by Monday evening, get replaced. Simple as that. Now, the union's warning New York City schools could be losing up to 100 teachers each when that vaccine deadline hits, but the courts firmly on the side of the city on this one. The judge in the case ruling to lift a temporary restraining order sought by teachers this week. So time's running out. The teachers union says what's coming Monday amounts to a nightmare scenario with schools scrambling to find replacements. City Hall says, not really so much of a scramble, Nicole, and part of the reason is the pandemic itself, which helped the nation's largest district prepare other certified staff members for teaching roles. And tonight, the city says it has thousands of them, qualified, vaccinated, substitute teachers ready to work. We're talking about 130,000 school district employees and another 18,000 contractors who need to have at least their first COVID shot by Monday evening. Most already have. Some are seeking religious or medical exemptions. The teachers union says its members as a group are actually the most vaccinated in all of New York City at around 90%. They'd like it to be 100 by Monday night, but they say that's simply not a realistic goal. So tonight, unions representing teachers and principals here are calling on the city's mayor to push that deadline back. The city says no way is that going to happen. And again, the law is with the city on this one, Nicole, not just in this past week's ruling, but we've talked to constitutional scholars about this. Legal experts tell us that nationwide support in the courts for vaccine mandates goes back more than 100 years.
All right, so Tom, we will see what happens come Monday. Thank you for that. All right, well, let's stick in New York City now in some real-life daytime TV drama. Chaos this morning on the set of ABC's The View, just moments before Vice President Kamala Harris was supposed to join this set. News Nation's Allison Harris is live for us tonight from Washington, D.C. So, Allison, walk us through what happened this morning.
Well, Nicole, just imagine learning that you tested positive for COVID on live national television while you are minutes away from interviewing in person the Vice President of the United States. That's what Americans across the country watch happen this morning on The View.
Vice President Kamala Harris will be here live for her very first in-studio interview.
A COVID outbreak uncovered on live television.
I need the two of you to step off for a second.
Okay. Anna and
we're going to bring you back later.
Hosts Sunny Hostin and Anna Navarro told to step off set mid-show, causing confusion.
What else can we talk about?
While Vice President Kamala Harris waited in the wings.
So shall I introduce the Vice President?
Yes.
Okay. So, Vice President, no. Nope. Okay, shall we dance? Let's do a tap dance.
Hosts Joy Behar and Sarah Haynes forced to explain after a commercial break.
What happened is that Sunny and Anna both apparently tested positive for COVID. No matter how hard we try, these things happen. They probably have a breakthrough case, and they'll be okay, I'm sure, because they're both vaccinated.
The VP eventually joining the show live, but not from the studio, coming on instead from a safe space in the same building.
Sunny and Anna are strong women, and I know they're fine, but it really also does speak to the fact that they're vaccinated, and vaccines really make all the difference, because otherwise we would be concerned about hospitalization and worse.
A spokesperson for the vice president says that she didn't have any contacts with the hosts before the show. Her day went on as planned. We know that the president and the vice president are tested regularly. And, Nicole, we also know from the president's spokeswoman that at least the president and the first lady will get a booster shot, but that date for their booster shot hasn't been set at this time. Nicole?
Yeah, that was really lighting up social media this morning. All right, Allison, thank you for that. All right, now to the crisis at the southern border, where that makeshift camp of thousands of Haitian migrants, well, it's now empty. The mayor of Del Rio, Texas, saying all of the migrants have been moved from under that bridge. Now, just yesterday, the U.S. Special Envoy to Haiti resigned, citing what he called the inhumane decision by the U.S. to deport those migrants. And there was widespread outrage after images emerged of Border Patrol agents on horseback chasing families with what appeared to many to be whips, although Border Patrol says they were actually horse reins. President Biden weighing in today.
It's outrageous. I promise you those people will pay. They will be, there's an investigation underway now, and there will be consequences.
Oh, but tonight we want to focus on what's next for those migrants. James Pierre, an award-winning journalist with nearly 20 years experience in Haitian radio and TV, joining me now from Houston, where some of those migrants now being held. So, James, what's the situation there behind you?
That's right, Eva. Under the bridge, there's no Haitian migrants, but right here at the family transfer center here in Houston, they are coming by the hour. And we are receiving also numbers from the Haitian authorities. So far, more than 2,000 Haitians have been deported back to Haiti. Here, they are receiving on a daily basis at least 200 to 300 Haitian migrants being granted temporary protective status or granted political asylum to stay here in the United States. Here at the center, right now, as we're talking, we're seeing another group coming in. Right now, the situation is very critical because many of these migrants, they don't have contacts. They don't have a way to contact their family members here in the United States because somehow they saved their numbers on a piece of paper under the bridge. It was watering, or they are being attacked on the road. They lose their cell phones or they lose contact. That's why we have many Haitian Americans coming from different parts of the United States here in Houston to join forces and how they can help. They've been buying tickets for these migrants. They've been also taking care of them the way they can.
Well, James, you say, buying tickets for some of the migrants. There's so many migrants there, so many families. What's next for them?
What's next now? Many local organizations are talking about legal process. Remember, if they grant political asylum, they need to have attorneys. They need to know the law of the land. Otherwise, they may be getting deported soon back to Haiti. So the next step is literally to reunite them with their families in different states of the United States and also give them some legal assistance.
All right, James, we do appreciate that update. Thank you. All right, let's turn now to Arizona. A review of the 2020 presidential election in the state's Maricopa County is the state's largest. It shows that former President Donald Trump was not cheated out of a win. The review was ordered by Republicans, and then for months, President Biden dealt with those accusations of voter fraud. News Nation Washington correspondent Joe Khalil following this story for us tonight. So, Joe, how long had that audit been going on?
Well, Nicole, it's actually been about 6 months now looking at the last election. Millions of dollars spent in that time, and also charges, from many Republicans and Democrats that the whole thing was bogus the entire time. And today, the story ended basically where it began, which is that Joe Biden won this county by more than 45,000 votes and that he is legitimately elected president. In fact, Cyber Ninjas, the company that was contracted by Republicans and also financed by some very pro-Trump organizations, they did a hand count, which actually found that President Biden earned 99 more votes and that former President Trump earned 260 votes fewer than the original election results. But let's be clear about all this. These numbers have no bearing whatsoever. This was not at all an official audit. Again, from the beginning, a lot of the elected officials in both parties, especially ones in charge of the election, have said that this audit was not credible. Cyber Ninjas has no experience in doing these types of audits before. Now, one Republican County Chairman, Jack Sellers, there said in a statement today that you don't really have to dig deep into the draft copy of the Arizona Senate and the Cyber Ninja audit to confirm what I already knew. He went on to say the candidates certified by the Board of Supervisors, by the governor, and by the Secretary of State and Attorney General did, in fact, win. He says that should be the end of the story, and everything else, he says, is just noise. Now, while cyber ninjas affirm the hand count was accurate, they also said they did find some things to be alarming. Like they say, ballots coming from people who moved out of the county and some missing electronic records. Two concerns they say may have been cleared up if the county of Maricopa actually cooperated with their audit, which the county, of course, did not. Now, former President Trump pounced on some of those things in the report. And he basically said that he thought there was enough fraudulent votes to change the outcome of the election. The report, of course, did not say that. Nicole?
Yeah, so the bottom line, he was not cheated out of a win. All right, Joe, thank you for that. Well, in Washington today, the House passing legislation protecting women's access to abortion. It's a response to that new Texas law banning most abortions in the state. News Nation's Anna Warnicki joining us live from D.C. But Anna, this bill pretty likely facing a tough road in the Senate.
That's right, Nicole. Today, the House passed the Women's Health Protection Act 218 to 211, with just one lone Democrat from Texas, Henry Cuellar, joining all Republicans to vote against the measure.
It will be the law of the land codified.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says the House-passed Women's Health Protection Act would make access to abortions a federal law.
This is about women's right to choose, yes, but it's about freedom.
Pelosi says the bill is a direct response to Senate Bill 8, a new Texas law that bans abortions after about 6 weeks and is enforced through civil action, awarding at least $10,000 to anyone who successfully sues someone who aided in an abortion.
A bounty in order to stalk a woman to ensure that the provider and the woman does not get an abortion.
Texas Democratic Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee says the Women's Health Protection Act would end the new Texas abortion law and codify the Supreme Court's 1973 Roe v. Wade decision.
To me, this is a heartbreaking piece of legislation.
But Republicans are united against the bill.
This bill is called the Women's Health Protection Act, but make no mistake, no woman is protected under this bill.
Texas Congresswoman Beth Van Dyne says the Democrats' bill goes too far.
It authorizes killing for the sake of convenience.
Now the bill heads to the Senate, where it's not expected to have the necessary votes to pass. Democrats need 60 votes, and right now Senate Republicans say they don't support it. For now, live in Washington, I'm Anna Warnicki. Nicole, back to you.
All right, Anna, thank you for that. All right, let's turn to weather now. Georgia Bailey is in the Weather Center, keeping an eye on a system that has formed in the Atlantic, Gerard.
Nicole, the tropics still very busy. We've got several systems we're watching, but one in particular still is Hurricane Sam, which developed very quickly late last night into early this morning. And while it continues to grow, it's in a very rich environment, lots of warm water around, so this thing is really going to get strong. As we head into the next several days, it is going to track to the west, likely becoming a major hurricane. And this could reach with winds over 130 miles per hour, headed to the portions of the Lesser Antilles over the next 5 days or so. Once we get beyond that point, it could make its turn a little bit towards into the Atlantic. Most of our data is saying that. There is a small chance, though, it could make some impacts along the East Coast. We won't know anything for the next couple of days. We're going to watch this, of course, very closely with some updates over the weekend.
We know you're keeping an eye on it. Thank you, Gerard. We'll still head tonight on News Nation Rush Hour. The search expanding tonight for Brian Laundrie. News Nation live at the scene of that massive manhunt. And we now know the punishment that the state of Florida is seeking against that former Marine accused of breaking into a home and killing 4 people inside. What's next in the case against Brian Riley? And an important programming note for all of our viewers. Starting Monday, Rush Hour will air 1 hour earlier. 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central. So be sure to update your DVRs and stick around after Blue Bloods. We'll be right back. Okay, you updated now on the latest in the Gabby Petito case. The manhunt continuing tonight for her fiance, Brian Laundrie, who also now has an FBI-issued federal arrest warrant. Law enforcement still focused on that 25,000-acre wildlife reserve. It's in Sarasota County, Florida. And that's where News Nation correspondent Brian Enton is live for us again tonight. So, Brian, they're using boats, even drones in this search.
Yeah, that's right, Nicole. Searching from the ground and from the air. They basically just wrapped up today, but we just learned some very new information just within the last hour from the Laundrie family attorney. He now says that Brian Laundrie came to this reserve without a cell phone and without a wallet. And he also says that Brian's parents were concerned that he might hurt himself when he came to the reserve. That's new information that just came out today. But take a look at this. More on the search. You can see it's a very, very dense swamp, this wildlife reserve, 24,000 acres. This is no longer a missing persons case. You mentioned it. This is now officially a manhunt. They were focusing on a different part of the reserve today than they did yesterday. Listen to what police told us today.
Well, the warrant doesn't change anything for us. We're working as hard to find him now as we did on day one. This is wearing on everyone. Everybody has a level of stress. Everybody has the drive, and that's really what's carrying us through.
And this is also new today. Take a look at this. These signs popped up in the Laundrie family yard today. Pictures of Gabby with the quote, "I was here once." There are several of them out there. Someone placed them there. We think they're referring to the fact that Gabby lived in that house at one time with Brian's parents. Back out here to the search, though, we know that they will be back out continuing to search throughout the weekend. Nicole?
Yeah, eyes across the nation still on Florida tonight. All right, Brian, thank you for that. Well, speaking of those eyes, we do want to let you know that next week here on News Nation, we are debuting a new series. It's called Missing in America, where we'll be highlighting missing people whose stories are not getting that much needed national attention. We're giving it to them. We're going to shed light on those cases. Still ahead tonight on News Nation Rush Hour, R. Kelly's fate now in the hands of a jury, when we could expect a verdict in the disgraced singer's sex crimes trial. Thanks for joining us on News Nation Rush Hour. I'm Nicole Burley, and here's what's happening in your nation right now. And new details in the deadly shooting rampage in a Memphis suburb. Police now saying the gunman was a third-party vendor at the Kroger and came there almost every day. Before the shooting, one person killed, 14 others injured. Police now examining several electronic devices seized from the alleged shooter's home to try and determine a motive. The gunman died from a self-inflicted wound shortly after police arrived on the scene. 8 people arrested, 11 indicted in connection to that hazing death of a college student named Adam Oakes. The Virginia Commonwealth University student died back in February at an off-campus house after a fraternity party. His death was ruled accidental, but his family says they're just grateful for some measure of justice. New York City schools preparing for a teacher shortage. School workers have until Monday to have at least one COVID shot. Right now, about 10,000 teachers are still unvaccinated. Some schools could lose up to 100 teachers. Tonight, union leaders calling on the city's mayor to push back that deadline. And real-life daytime drama unfolding on live television. 2 hosts of The View learned they tested COVID positive just moments before Vice President Kamala Harris was going to join them on set. Sunny Hassan and Anna Navarro were sitting at the table, but then had to leave before the show abruptly went to break. And the VP did still make an appearance, but she did the interview remotely from another room in the studio. The White House says Harris did not have any contact with the hosts who tested positive. Well, new tonight out of New York, R. Kelly's fate is on hold. The jury in his sexual misconduct trial began deliberating today before breaking for the weekend, so we'll have to wait until at least Monday for a potential verdict. News Nation's Colorama from our New York City station WPIX is in Brooklyn following this case.
The jury going on 5 hours of deliberations before the judge lets them go for the weekend. And I'm told by legal analysts that coming up with a verdict won't be easy because of the complex charges. 12 jurors made up of 7 men and 5 women are pouring through weeks of evidence. The jury is charged with coming up with a verdict on 9 separate counts, a racketeering charge and 8 violations of the Mann Act for sex trafficking across state line. Legal analysts say R. Kelly could face life in prison if found guilty on these complex charges usually seen in mob cases. The prosecution brought in 45 witnesses over 19 days, trying to paint R. Kelly as the kingpin of a sex trafficking enterprise, using his fame and fortune to prey on girls girls, boys, and young women. The prosecutor asking the jury this morning to, quote, find the defendant guilty because that is what the evidence demands. The Star's defense team using 5 witnesses in 2 days to describe the alleged victims as groupies and hustlers vying to be a part of the singer's Playboy lifestyle. Because this has to be unanimous, how easy is it for a mistrial?
Oh my God, that's the thing. It's easy for a mistrial because all you need is one juror to hold out. It doesn't matter if 11 jurors are like, he's guilty.
This anonymous jury is not sequestered. They'll get to go home for the weekend, and then next week we'll be expecting a verdict when they reconvene on Monday. I'm Kalorama in Brooklyn, New York. Nicole, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Callo, thank you for that. Well, a man accused of killing a Florida family at random in court today. Investigators say Brian Riley believed that family trafficked children for sex, but he didn't know any of his alleged victims. Right now, Riley is charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder. NewsNation's Stacey DeSilva from her Tampa station WFLA is joining us now with what happened in court today.
Today, a judge heard arguments on whether prosecutors can gain access to Brian Riley's medical records from 2 Central Florida hospitals.
We're here for State versus Riley.
Friday's hearing came the same day prosecutors announced they will be seeking the death penalty in the quadruple murder case against Brian Riley. He is the Marine accused of killing 4 members of a Lakeland family, including a 3-month-old baby. At Lakeland Regional Health after the shooting, detectives say Riley told them he was on meth. Prosecutors want records from that day at the hospital. Defense objects, citing relevance.
The court must act as a shield to protect the patient's right to privacy.
Prosecutors also want records from the James A. Haley VA Hospital in Tampa regarding the Marine's alleged PTSD and injury sustained while serving overseas. The court heard Friday from the lead detective on this case, Christopher Bullman.
He was injured during his tours overseas when he was in the Marines.
Have you received information of what one of those injuries may be?
Yes, a concussion.
The judge has taken this matter under consideration. Next up is Brian Riley's arraignment set for October 12th. Back to you, Nicole.
All right, Stacey, thank you. Let's still ahead on NewsNation Rush Hour. We are taking you live to opening day of the Texas State Fair, back in full swing after last year's scaled-back celebration. How all those fairgoers are making up for a lot of lost time. Lots of fried food to eat. And then we'll take you live to Wisconsin for round 1 of the iconic Ryder Cup. Team USA fans out in full force. We're live from Whistling Straits Golf Course. And this important programming note for all of our Rush Hour viewers, starting Monday, Rush Hour will be airing 1 hour earlier at 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central. So make sure you update your DVRs and stick around with us after Blue Bloods. We'll be right back. All right, deep fried Oreos, pickles, slices of cake, pizza. You can find almost anything battered and dipped in hot oil at the state fair, and several states, including West Virginia, Illinois, Kansas, and Texas, have brought back their fairs after being canceled or scaled back last year due to the pandemic. And NewsNation correspondent Marky Martin joining us live from day 1 of the Texas State Fair. Marky, I'm assuming you brought a lot of antacid.
I do. I don't hate this assignment, Nicole. It is opening day here at the Texas State Fair. But first, can we talk about this smorgasbord of fried fair food I have in front of me? I want to give you just a couple examples here. This is the fried Frito pie. This one, best of the best. Then you got to come over here. This is the fried armadillo. This is a funnel cake, basically a huge ice cream sandwich. Cookie dough ice cream in the middle. I mean, come on. And then lastly, the fried Halloween. It's basically a big pretzel, chocolate, candy corn, syrup, you name it. This is a big deal. You know, it's 135 years that they're celebrating, but more notably, it was all but canceled last year because of COVID. The Texas State Fair turned into drive-through only. And for people who grew up here or have come here every year, to see your corn dog and stuffed animals handed through the window, it was just bizarre. So now everything is back almost to normal. You got some indoor masking, some social distancing in certain areas, but you know what? Everyone we talked to, for the most part, willing to comply if it means they get to come back to the state fair and get their corn dogs. Take a listen to some of these families we talked to.
It was heartbreaking.
Sad.
I mean, it's probably 20 plus years I've come on opening day, and the first thing we do is get a corn dog before we eat anything else.
I would say that a Fletcher's corny dog is almost like Philly cheesesteak to Philly or pizza to New York. That's what the corny dog is to Texas.
It's great to get back out here, after being cooped up. I think it's an awesome experience, and I'm glad I get to share it with my kids.
And, everyone said they're not sharing a single bite of anything. They've been waiting for this day since 2019. And, most people said this was actually the biggest crowd and event they've come back to since the pandemic started. And in 2019 and all the years before the pandemic, this thing brings in between 2 and 3 million people a year. Last year, Nicole, those numbers were slashed. About 21,000 cars drove through, Nicole. So it was not the same numbers.
Not the same at all. Okay, so you're talking about those slashed numbers. You don't even have to be from Texas, though, to know that the fair is a money maker for the state. What was the business impact of COVID?
Oh, yeah, Nicole, they took a hit. I mean, every year before the pandemic, the State Fair of Texas brings in about $400 million for North Texas, and they lost $20 million because of this, of not having it last year, or just having the drive-through. And the domino effect of that is detrimental. They fund local scholarships, they fund area farms here. Not to mention the individual vendors who didn't, bring all of their people back. They didn't need those employees to work the drive-through, and a lot of those individual vendors took a hit as well. And lastly, Nicole, for anybody who's still on the fence about coming, the fair says, hey, 80% of the fairgrounds are outdoors. Indoors, you have to be masked up, and they also suggest come during a weekday. It's less crowded. It's also less expensive. Nicole.
Well, Marky, I hate that you're all the way in Texas. You scared me when I heard fried armadillo, but then when I heard funnel cake, ice cream. Yes, sign me up. Sign me up. All right, Marky, thank you for that.
Don't worry about me, Nicole. I'm good.
I think you're good. All right, thank you. The 2020 Ryder Cup officially teed off today in 2021. The biannual event rescheduled, of course, after being postponed last year due to the pandemic. But fans very, very eager, as you can see, to see some of the best golfers in the entire world. And News Nation's Kyle Malzahn from our Green Bay station WFRV is live for us tonight at Whistling Straits in Sheboygan, one of my favorite towns to say. Kyle, tell us about some of the big names in attendance today.
Yeah, Nicole, some of the celebrities here include Chicago's own Michael Jordan. Dustin Johnson hit a big putt, and he goes up to him and fist bumps him. And then you have NBA superstar Steph Curry make an appearance. But let's talk about the fans a little bit, because they were excited for this event. They were lined up hours before gates opened up, and the gates opened up at 6 a.m. And when they let them in, they were literally running to their seats, making sure that they don't miss the tee time at 7 a.m. Now, this is the 43rd event of the Ryder Cup, and first time it's been in Wisconsin, so the 3-year wait is obviously something that fans were excited to see. And if you go back to it, USA, they came out hot today, early to just make a statement. The last decade, they really have been dominated by Europe, but right now, as we speak, they're out 5-1. Now, it's going to be really interesting to see what they do tomorrow, but these youngsters just want to turn a page on a decade where they have just been dominated by the Europeans and just start fresh. And the United States fans came out in droves. They were saying, USA, we want to win. Just all the excitement here at the Ryder Cup to make this event what it is. Now, Nicole, there's rain behind me, so I'm going to send it back to you in the studio. We got to go, but hey, what a day at the Ryder Cup. Beautiful weather up until this.
Up until that. Hopefully the rain won't last for long. Kyle, great seeing all that red, white, and blue among those fans there. So thank you for that. Well, still to come tonight on News Nation Rush Hour, are Pat Sajak and Vanna White finally ready to bid farewell to Wheel of Fortune, when the hosting duo could take their final spin hosting the popular game show. And a legal dispute heating up, Disney suing comic book artists of some of your favorite Marvel characters, why they're at odds. Well, it is one of America's favorite game shows, Wheel of Fortune. We got to stay on this graphic. Look, that's so awesome. Our associate producer, Turner, put that request in, and we like that. The iconic co-host, Pat Sajak and Vanna White, may seem eternal, just like that wheel after hosting the show together for 35 years, but their wheels do have to stop spinning at some point. In New Tonight, the pair opening up about when they may leave the show. Let's bring in News Nation's Justin Roman joining us live tonight again in the studio with the details. Hey, Justin.
Hey, Nicole, how are you? No need to cue Boys to Men's. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday just yet because the hosts recently extended their contracts for the game show until 2024. So, is there a specific timeline when Sajak and White won't be part of the show? When asked, Sajak, who is 74 years old, said, "I wouldn't bet on seeing us in 10 years. And White replies, "Probably yes." While Sajak can see the end of his days at the hit game show on the horizon, here's some good fortune for his daughter. The new season will feature Maggie Sajak as online host. Pat and Van are also hosting Celebrity Wheel of Fortune, which returns for its second season on Sunday.
Well, 35 years is an awesome run,
Yes.
so they have done us all very well. All right, from the wheel to a legal battle over the rights of some of Marvel's biggest characters. So, Justin, what's happening here?
Man, Marvel is now suing to avoid losing the rights to classic characters like Iron Man, Spider-Man, and the Black Widow. Disney is no stranger to lawsuits, but this fight could cost them out some serious cash if they lose. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Disney has filed several lawsuits today which will decide who owns these iconic characters. The complaints are against the heirs of some of the biggest names in the comic book world, such as Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. The suits seek to establish that the several Marvel characters are ineligible for copyright terminations. Now, if Marvel's justification for the ownerships don't hold up in court, the studio will have to share the ownership of these characters. I'm not a betting man, but if I was, my money would be on the mouse. Always.
Always on the mouse. All right.
Yes.
A popular sci-fi acting legend going from starring in a show exploring the universe to seeing the real stars above. Justin, who is this actor heading to space?
Nicole, James T. Kirk from Star Trek is finally going to space. Talk about fulfilling a lifelong prophecy. TMZ is reporting that William Shatner, who is 90 years old, is set to become the oldest man ever in space as part of the second civilian crew to travel with Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin. If you want to see this flight, you're in luck because the Blue Origin flight will be recorded for a documentary that the Discovery Channel has already rejected. But no worries, Shatner's team is negotiating elsewhere. Now, I'm not even half this dude's age, and I'm terrified of heights, so nothing but respect for William Shatner going to space at the age of 90.
Justin, honestly, he is 90 years. I really was like wanting to fact check. He's 90.
Are you calling me a liar, Nicole?
No, he just, what I'm saying, you know what, William Shatner, if you're watching, you look amazing.
Yes.
Justin, as do you, and thank you for joining us tonight.
You look amazing as well. Thank you.
News Nation Rush Hour continues now, live from our headquarters here in Chicago. Here's what's happening in your nation right now. And we do now know what killed actor Michael K. Williams. The New York City medical examiner says he died of acute drug intoxication and called his death accidental. The autopsy report says Williams had several drugs in his system, including fentanyl, heroin, and cocaine. The Emmy nominee was just 54 years old. Rochester, New York police say only one officer could face departmental discipline in the death of a black man after he was detained on a street. It happened in March of last year, and video shows Officer Mark Vaughn assuming a push-up stance while pressing Daniel Prude's head to the pavement as other officers held down his legs. A mesh spit hood was also placed over his head. Prude's death sparked nightly protests and led to the suspension of 7 officers. And convicted murderer Derek Chauvin plans to appeal. The former Minneapolis police officer says he intends to appeal on 14 grounds, including the judge's denial to move the trial out of Hennepin County due to pretrial publicity. The jury found Chauvin guilty of murder and manslaughter for the death of George Floyd in March of last year. He was sentenced to 22 and a half years in prison. Investigators have determined a 6-year-old girl was not wearing a seatbelt when she fell from an amusement park ride and died earlier this month. It happened on the haunted mine drop at Glenwood Caverns Adventure Park just outside of Denver. The report says the victim was sitting on the seatbelt. An alarm system went off, but the ride operators reset that alarm and sent the ride on its way. A television executive is accusing CNN anchor Chris Cuomo of groping her at a party 16 years ago. In a New York Times piece, Shelley Ross says it happened while Cuomo gave her a bear hug at a going-away party in 2005. She claims Cuomo told her, quote, "I can do this now that you're no longer my boss." She says she responded, "No, you can't," while pushing him away. Now, Ross says Cuomo needs education about sexual harassment. He has responded that he apologized to Ross at the time and that it was sincere. China's central bank has declared all cryptocurrency transactions illegal, including Bitcoin. The bank says digital currencies disrupt the financial system and are used for crime. Prices for Bitcoin and other virtual currencies dropped after that announcement. Well, as always, we do like to leave you with a smile when we can. Tonight's comes courtesy of an innovative Colorado 12-year-old. And like so many areas of the country, there's a shortage of bus drivers in Josh Smith's town. So he decided to get creative with the help of his parents. He lives a few miles from his middle school, but the shortest route is across a reservoir. So he's now kayaking to class every day.
Well, I was late to one of my classes, and everyone was like, Josh, we were worried about you. Where were you? And I was like, oh, I was kayaking to school.
He says once that water freezes, he's just going to trade in his kayak for skis. We love it, Josh. And that is all for News Nation Rush Hour. Don't forget, starting Monday, Rush Hour will air an hour earlier, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 o'clock Central. As for our entire news lineup, you can still see the Dowling Report right after Rush Hour, followed by On Balance with Leland Vittert, then the debut of Dan Abrams Live, followed by News Nation Prime and Banfield. Don't forget to watch Morning in America Monday at 7 a.m. Eastern. That starts on Monday. Have a great weekend.